Well, you're still watching Prime Morning. We're all the way till 9 a.m. MFI is here. Good morning, MFI.
Hi, good morning.
Well, CS looking bright ever, as usual. Time for us to do our news flash.
Yeah. Why do people say, how do you do? Back to, when I say, how do you do?
Oh, I think it's an
Why
English...
Why must you say, how do you do?
Yeah, it's an English greeting, and we will never understand some of the things that English language will present to us. Like, example, if you say, if the word T-H-O-U-G-H is what, though?
Though, yeah.
But if you put an R there, it's true.
And same dough for condo will not be TH, it will be D-O-U-G-H.
Yeah, dough, and the C-O-U-G-H will be cough.
Not.
I mean, I don't get it. Just D is dough, but C is cough.
Can you imagine?
English language. We have a problem with you, don't we?
Okay, right. So, what shall I start with? The daily graphic? Okay, so the big one by now, you know, is that UTAG has suspended its strike. And it hopes that before the 14th, they would have arrived at a certain, resolution or a certain understanding between UTAG and then the government. Otherwise, on the 4th of March, it just might resume. So schools have actually started issuing their timetable. They're actually telling me about
KNUST asking the teachers, the students to get back to class on 24th of February. That's tomorrow.
Okay, that's tomorrow.
Yes,
that's tomorrow. And so if you're students like me, where you pretend to be sad about strikes and you have plans, please.
The reality now is
hitting. And then when it comes, your lecture notes, they're coming like a flood. Yeah. So you want that story is in front of the Daily Graphic this morning as well. Now, so we're ready to remove Ascent North MP. Remember that some time ago, a citizen actually invoked Article 94(2)(a) of the 1992 Constitution, actually trying to seek the interpretation and maybe the enforcement of what would actually qualify you to be a member of parliament. And since then, the bailiff in trying to serve that writ to the member of parliament has been a challenge personally. So in court yesterday, they're actually asking for a substitute where if you haven't been able to serve him personally, it should be, there are other options, maybe paste it in the public domain, some way, somehow, so that he gets it, because it is important that he gets it. So that has been the update. Story of that is on page 16 of the Daily Graphic this morning. Now, 50,000 master craftsmen to receive TVET support. So, I mean, it looks like the technical vocational education training is gaining grounds gradually, especially in this ruling government. Story is on page 20 of the Daily Graphic this morning, Jay.
Well, you might want to also capture the Daily Guide newspaper. The big one at the front page here. Boga MP suffers 3 defeats in court. This is James Jache Kwesen here, still battling this whole issue of dual citizenship as well. You might want to read the full story on page 3. It's on the Daily Guide newspaper. And also, Unibank collapse. Amano Dodu cleared to testify against the 4. That story is also on page 4 here, and we did a follow-up on this story. Trasaco floors Woodfield in court. You know, there was a long-standing battle between Trasaco and, the estate real estate agent or company, I beg your pardon, Trasaco, on the ownership of their lands. And I was wondering what's going to happen if they had lost the case in court. I mean, would that mean pay a huge fine to this or give up the ownership of the lands to Woodfield? But anyway, it seems that they are in the lead with the situation in court as we speak. Parliament rejects NDC COVID-19 motion. It's on page 6 of Daily Guide newspaper. And the Supreme Court bounces Oponi again with Justice Honyanuga, right?
Again.
That's his name. He lost again.
Yeah.
So the man is going to stay
interpreting the laws, it's quite tough. From where you sit and how you think.
I think that his strategy was to get him off, because it might then open him up to a better, argument in this case. Because once the man is there, he knows.
That particular case was actually ruled so many years in a case, I think, is it Salah versus the Attorney General, where a man who had been just like him thought that, okay, the new government had relieved him of his duty because said it wasn't appointed by that government. And then in court, they said that because they had seen this man and his wife shopping in one of the judges' shop, it means that they're friends.
They have a relationship.
Yes, but I mean, it was ruled that that was not necessary and that the judge could sit on the case. So with that precedent, it's going to be difficult for him to take this Justice Honeyuga off the seat. It's going to be very tough for him, I doubt. But anyway, is that it for the Ghanaian Times?
Yes, almost. So Stonebwoy pushes for Musiga takeover. It's a story in the middle page here as well. And delay courts Amrado. I mean, this is... I don't know whether it's all in the interest of pushing the artist, but delay Amrado have been in the news lately. Anyway, if there's something genuinely brewing, all the best in there as well. Okay.
Only when he's got a new music coming up.
That's when it pops up, isn't it?
I think we've outgrown that strategy. I hope not. Anyway, so the Chronicle this morning, well, how would you say this word?
Well,
C-O-O, is it a slang word or is it? I'll check out.
It sounds like a coops up a
bongo boy.
Boys.
Okay, I've not read that
It
story.
looks like a slang if you ask me, but it's always great to check it out. But.
Right, so a bongo boy, I'd say, is being arrested by the police for allegedly dealing with illicit trafficking of arms and ammunition. Story is on page 2 and 3 of the Chronicle this morning. Dispute over Boiteman land. Okay, so Jay already brought you that story about the Trasaco, the case between the Trasaco and Woodfields in court, actually. Now, you must have heard about the story of minority trying to probe the expenditure on COVID-19 that has been shut down. There are a number of things that the minority has been seeking and asking for. They want the removal of the minister in charge of health. They want to probe into COVID-19 expenditure. There's so much happening.
Even with the sale of Airtel Tigo,
absolutely.
I realize I'm George again. I've been throwing some weights in there. I think it's a very bad time for the sitting government. A story here that I'm sure when I break that news to you, you go like, this is going to be difficult.
Which one of that?
Well, transport fares to go up by 15%, effective Saturday.
If you have followed the news on transport fares, so there's this disagreement between private sector and also the instruction that's coming from look at it and specifically tell me who it's coming from. So there's the argument between 30% increment and 15% increment, so that the transport fares will be reduced to 15, not the initial 30%. And it looks like, yesterday I was listening to the news and one of the spokespersons says that, who is instructing us? Did they buy fuel for us? Did they buy our cars for us? We're not even going to be bothered. But I mean, what are the laws and what's the implication of you not adhering to, instructions from maybe stakeholders if you are in a certain cycle of industry? You should grab a read and decide whether you're paying 15% or 30%. But really, would it even be your decision, Jay? A driver is taking 30%. You say, well, I read in the news that it should be 15%. So I'm paying 15%.
Well, I mean, because they have associations that guard their. I mean, it's all GPRT
I don't
and
care
all.
about what you're saying.
So they would, and trust me. I mean, the patron, well, people would definitely react to this if the fares go up wrongly than what has been stated by by these mandated organizations. So I think the 30% wouldn't happen. I think the 15% would happen. But either ways, transport fares will go up.
I'm telling you that one of the spokespersons said that maybe those with the rickety cars will charge 15%. They won't charge 15%.
We won't charge 15%. This is serious as well.
This country. Anyway, so the Chronicle this morning. Well, okay, I brought you that story already, but I was going to give you the scripture reading for today. So Psalm 36 verse 4, even on their beds they plot evil, they commit themselves to sinful cause and do not reject what is wrong.
Amen.
I'm trying to see which of the stories in front of the Chronicle is tied to this. Anyway, grab a copy for yourself, and I don't want to get myself into trouble.
All right, let's go to Ghanaian Times newspaper. Now, it says here, endorsement of presidential candidates by chiefs during election violates constitution. CDD reports here, it's on page 17. Give us back our lands. Nungwa Manche demands from government. And also, UTAG suspends strike for 2 weeks to engage government on demands. And that story is here, all on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
I'll wrap with the Finder as court will rule on UTAG strike on the 9th day of March. That's whether or not in these 2 weeks they'll be able to arrive at a certain agreement and things to be implemented. The ruling would come on the 9th of March, as reported by the Finder as well. And then we're committed to building viable mining industry. Honorable Jinapor speaking there. Also, Dr. Efri Yakoto debunks procurement breaches and fraud allegations. Stories on page 9 of the Finder. I think that this will tie into the story that Jay brought to you yesterday, as the Auditor General was auditing an accountant
in the Ashanti region,
for squandering a certain
needs to pay back about 900,000 Ghana cedis plus thereabouts.
Yep. Okay, so chiefs sway voters during elections through open endorsements and open endorsements of candidates, CDD surveys. And speaking, you want to grab a read, is on page 2 of the Finder this morning. That's a wrap for me.
All right, my last paper here is a Ghanaian Observer as well. Government sets out plans for clean energy, championed by the Vice President. And also government committed to building viable mining industry. The two comes in there again, MFA. And government rallies Ghanaians to support e-levy. I hope the two in there helps out. Well, these are the main stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer. And it's a wrap for me as well. It's Wednesday.
Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.